The greatest things that ever happened to the field of entertainment, which psychedelic music is rhythm and blues, of course.
Is this new psychedelic type of thing, is that an art form or is that a gimmick?
I think it's a novelty. I think it's a gimmick. I think it's manufactured music that is made with very little feeling, with very, very little preparation, in fact. Last night in my hotel room, I was listening on my tape recorder to an album made by a now defunct group called the Kingston Trio. Do you remember the Kingston Trio?
Yeah.
Kingston Trio have now broken up. Their novelty days have passed. And 10 years ago in 1958, they were on top with no place to go but down. And I listened to them and the Kingston Trio, who were folk singers, perhaps in a more commercial sense, naturally, than Joan Baez or Peter, Paul, and Mary, or the Pete Seegers and the real folk singers. But they were folk singers, and they got out and sang for several hours in a concert performance and for an hour in a recording with nothing. They sang naked. They had 2 guitars and a banjo and their voices. Their voices were exposed, completely unaided, you know. And I challenge any of the rock and roll groups today, any of these psychedelic idiots who are taking all the credit for being the innovators and the shaping, you know, I think it's because of their appearance more of their fame than, you know, I never felt myself as a singer that I was that insecure that I had to look like that to get attention. I was hoping maybe my voice would be strong enough to get me my attention, you know.
With most hipsters, I find that the only subject of conversation is drugs. And that gets to be a bore after a while. Another thing that gets to be a bore after a while is their holier-than-thou attitude. There is a kind of game that some hipsters play, and that is higher than thou, or more high, or high more often, or groovy, or you know, a number of things like that. Now, most of them try to resist it, that's true, and all of them are aware of that game. But no, what I really object to is that constant conversation about drugs. Else.
More people smoke pot than eat peanut butter sandwiches, I would say.
Seriously, just how big a part do drugs play in the hip scene? Let's ask the guru of the psychedelic set, Timothy Leary.
Our government officials tell us that between 15 and 20% of our college students are regularly using mind-opening chemicals such as marijuana and LSD as part of their education and their growth. Now, you must be clear that the young people who are using LSD are not the dull students or the rebellious students. This is not a criminal class. Indeed, it's the smartest, the most creative, the brightest students in our best colleges and universities who are using this new form of growth and education.
I don't believe that any stimulant makes you the better. In other words, I think if you're good, you'll be good without anything.